What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Only Builds with Jacob. Today we are back out at the shop that we built earlier this year. We finally got the electrical, so everything is finished up over here. Now my client wants an electric opener on this gate. Now I have done numerous openers, but I don't think I've ever made a video of it. This gate is 25 feet roughly, almost 30 actually, but the opening is only 20 foot, so that works out perfect to put the opener on this size gate, because usually they're not made for anything bigger than 25 foot. But the opening's bigger than the gate, or the opening is smaller than the gate is, so that works out. The way this will work is I'm going to take this 2x6 here and I'm going to make a 2x2 form right here, and then I'm going to drill a hole right here with the auger and fill that up with concrete, let that dry overnight, and tomorrow we will get the opener put on. Now that that part's done, start putting it together. Just like that. We're going to double check level. Alright, we're going to call that good. Alright, that's about 28 inches. That's plenty to keep this thing from pulling out. Okay, so that literally took like 20 minutes, super simple. I've already mag floated it. I've got to let this dry up for, I don't know, it could be 30-45 minutes before I start edging it. Then I got to let it dry up some more before I put the steel trowel on it. So sit and wait. Okay guys, there's one thing I want to mention about this too, now that that's poured, is don't wait till the afternoon to do this like I did. I didn't start till a little after 1 o'clock, and we are in the middle of November in West Texas, and it's only in the mid 70s right now, and that makes this stuff take forever to dry. So let me go ahead and show you where we're at. So I have been waiting about 40 minutes already, just about 40 minutes, and if you look at this with the right angle, you can see how that the middle is very, very wet with that bleed water. What we're kind of looking for is this little area here where it's just kind of got a little glossy sheen on it, but not so much that you can see the water like right there in the middle. And then what you want is to be able to kind of press on this and it's kind of firm and your fingers only sink maybe 1/8 of an inch. This is still a little wet, but I am very close to being able to edge the outsides. I'm just waiting for that side over here to dry up a little more before I start edging. And I will not put a steel trowel on this for a while. All right, the middle of this is still fairly wet. The outside is pretty firm. That's really what I want. But the middle, I don't like. And the outside over here, over there is good. It's just the middle right in here. Still very, very wet. But let's see what we can do. Now this is a pull trowel, or at least what real finishers call a pull trowel. And they will give you so much crap for using this, but who cares? You can get over it. Most of them will tell you to use a steel trowel like this, but again, who cares? If you're worried about your edges leaving scratches or whatever, raised lips, then use a pull trowel. Okay, so that's about the best I'm gonna get it. I had this corner sink on me a little bit, but I need it flat more so right in this area, and it is. That'll be just fine. So let's let this dry up for about 24 hours and get the electric gate installed. Okay, here we are 24 hours later, and it looks okay, you know, good enough. I actually tried to do a little bit more of a burned in finish after I shut the camera off, just because I wanted to. Worked out fairly good over here on the left, but the right was still dry and the sun went down, so I just couldn't get this right side dry enough to try that. But regardless, it doesn't matter. It's just to put the housing or the motor on. So here's the motor. It is a RSL 12UL. This is a residential sliding gate. That's exactly why, you know, RSL is residential sliding. 12 is because it is a 12 volt, but it can also run off 110, but it's a 12 volt solar powered with a battery. So you just lift that up, toss it to the side. This has everything that you need, just about, not quite everything, but. So I like to set the box up somewhere so that way I have somewhere to throw my trash. So this will come with an instruction manual. This package here is extremely important. Do not throw this away. This is going to be one of the last things that you need, but if you don't have this, this will not work. A couple of years ago, they changed the design on these to where they have to have 2 sensors instead of 1. So before, it was kind of like a garage door where there was 1 sensor. So if somebody was walking through while it was trying to close, it would open back up. Well, now they have this edge sensor to where you have to put it on. There's no way to bypass it that I know of. And what it is when the gate's trying to open, if somebody or something was pinched in between, it'll press this up against this rubber and it sends a signal and it will close, so that way somebody or something doesn't get crushed. And then this is the bracket for this. It slides in there. Very simple. Don't lose that washer. This thing will come right off. So here is the monitored reflective photo eye. This is what tells it can open and close, or this is what tells it that it can close. So if something is in between this, you will not be able to close it. This is a 20-foot chain. Set those to the side. Now this is the bracket that the chain attaches to, and it uses this bolt here with this eyelet. And basically you will take this bracket, you'll weld it on to the gate like this, and then this thing here goes in like this. So after you find the nut that you drop, take this, pass it through that hole, put the other nut on. This is adjustable, so that way you can tighten your chain. That's what this is for. So this will weld onto the gate right here, and then your chain hooks up right here and runs along the gate. Now, if you don't have a welder, you want to install this, you could probably go buy some steel, drill your own hole, and make it like a bracket and screw this on somehow. The next thing that I've got is this keypad, the KPW5. It's the cheaper one. It's plastic. They also sell one that's metal cased. I don't ever get those. I think it's kind of a waste, but I get the KPW5. And this just charges the battery. That's quite literally all it does. Charges the battery, and yeah, it's simple. You will have to, if you're going to use the battery it comes with, so this is the battery it comes with, but if this is going to be somewhere where the gate's opening, 15, 20 times a day or more, you want to upgrade the battery to a bigger battery. Now this battery supposedly will do 100 openings a day, which is a lot. Honestly, I don't see any reason somebody would upgrade the battery. just unless they just wanted to. These are so much cheaper than the other batteries too. So we're gonna use this battery. And you will have to cut off these terminals so that way you can hook them up correctly. So the first order of business is to remove this off this pallet and go set it on our slab over there. You just pick this up. Now if y'all notice, and I noticed this yesterday, I messed up just a little bit. Not a big deal, but I should have just put this slab up against this wheel, but or this case, but I didn't. I wish I would have, but that's besides the point. It's too late for that now. The main thing you want to do here is make sure that these brackets will reach, and that's just about right there. Now, I didn't build this gate, I didn't install this gate. I don't know how parallel this gate is to anything else, but it should be really straight. So if I measure from the framing down here from the pipe down here to the frame of the opener, as long as I get the two the same, that should be pretty parallel with each other. Okay, I got this set right where I want it. You want to make sure that this bracket, when it's on the end, lines up with the center of that just about. When this bracket is welded on, you want those to be almost lined up perfectly. So the screws we're going to be using are these 5/16 by 2 1/4 Tapcons. These are perfect. They hold really well. They don't waller out typically. Moisture doesn't get in there and work them out like other anchors do. These are perfect. Now this uses a 1/4 inch masonry bit. Now that I got the hole started, like that. And I reused the washers that came on the pallet that had this bolted down. I try to get this thing as close to level as possible, but can't guarantee it every time. Also want to make sure that we are in line here. Oops. pretty dang close. That is solid. It's solid and level. That's what we want. At least it's level off of this. I don't know how level those are, how square they are with everything, but I show level, so that's what matters. So you're going to want to measure from the bottom of this wheel here. Take your level it from the bottom of that, level it from the bottom of that chain guide, make a mark. That's pretty much going to be your center point. To make a center mark on this bracket. So I can make sure I get things lined up as close as possible. This is not directional. You put it whatever way you want. Galvanized tubing, because the stuff's really thin, it's a lot easier to control the puddle that way. Going to do is take a level measurement from the bottom of the frame to this bottom 3/8. We're gonna go to this pole right here. I'm gonna do the same thing. Now I'm fairly confident in the placement of those, that's why I fully welded them. But if I were you and this was your first time, probably wouldn't fully weld it. I would tack weld it first. Now the chain comes with these little brackets, or whatever you want to call them. They're not adapters, but connectors, if you will. And you got to be sure that you do not lose these. I almost lost this one. I'm lucky I just found it. Now, the reason I tightened that all the way is because on the instructions manual says, I believe it says 1 inch per 10 feet. And this is 20 foot, so you can have a 2-inch drop. And that's about what we've got in the middle of the chain. Now to test this out, there is a manual button on the opener. You just basically turn that off and then come test the door. Works good. If you look down that line, that chain looks perfectly parallel. I mean, right in line, perfect. Okay, so the rest of this is very straightforward. That's actually the hardest part of the whole thing. So your battery will go down in here and hooks up right here, and it's color coded. Hook your battery up. This wiring here is for the solar panel wiring, and then this will plug in. Now, if you're not running a solar panel, you don't hook these up. Now the way they send this solar panel, it hooks up to the battery, but that's not how this set works. And right now I don't have the correct connectors for this, but I'm just gonna use what I got. Now in the back right corner, they have this grommet that's already cut and allows wiring to go into it. It's not the only set of wires, so we will be moving it again. I'm just going to use these Wagos because that's all I've got. This is only solar power, so. Next, we will put on the photo eye sensor, and it will go over here. Now, these things have a heater in them, but you cannot use the heater if you are doing solar panel because it will drain the battery in a matter of hours. And it says so. It's very important that you don't do that. Now, how high you mount this doesn't matter really, but you want to make sure that it's high enough and low enough to catch a car, truck, SUV. Now, unfortunately, I can't run the wiring through the tube. It just wouldn't be very easy. So it's going to have to be zip tied to this, but that's not that big of a deal. This thing is directional. It says up over here. And again, you just kind of set it wherever. I'm going to set it right here. For this photo ISO, you're going to come over here and look over here, and it says open eyes edge, close eyes edge. That's for that edge thing I was showing you earlier. And then you have one here for close eyes interrupt. You're going to want to pull that one out. This whole thing here will come out. Ignore the white and green, that's for the heater. That will not be used if you are doing solar. The red and black is what you want, and they will go red on the bottom, black on the top on this yellow one. But you're going to want to unscrew these screws first, and that will take a very tiny little screw. Just like that. And then you pop this thing back in. Just like that. Now next is this thing here, and you can cut this to whatever length you want. I don't know if there's a minimum. I always just cut them as long as this thing here. And then this thing has a little groove on both sides. You can slide that just like this. And that's how it mounts, but you have to mount this metal piece first. And I'm gonna mount it That's where this bag comes in. You're going to take this little plastic bracket and put one on each end. That'll be the first thing that you do. Just like that. Then you will take these little red clips, these little red and gray clips, and they only go in one way. Actually, you take the gray off of them. You're gonna press that down pretty hard, and then you will take your knife on only one of these little rubber ends. You'll take your knife, cut the bottom out. See, it has a little slot. Cut that bottom of that slot out. Put that rubber on. That's what she said. Then you take this little plastic keeper clip and pop it in, just like that. Do the same for this end. Except do not cut that like you did on the other side. Then and it does take some force, at least with the screws that I used. Now, there is a correct and incorrect one of these to use. One says open eyes edge, one says close eyes edge. You're going to want to put it on open because the other sensor is for closing. And it doesn't matter which one goes where. Pop that back on. Believe it or not, you're pretty much ready. The only thing we got to go put on is this reflector. But I can't put the reflector on until this is operating. Okay. So now it's running through everything. And it's ready for us to set everything. you have to have the reflector on. That is sweet. Let's open it now. Sweet. That's so cool. Now you can see why I said I wish I had moved that concrete slab back. I'm so used to doing it like this because usually I'm building the gate too, so I'm putting tracking right here. But since I didn't build this gate, I didn't really think about that. So y'all be sure that your concrete's far enough back, but regardless, that's fine. That won't hurt anything. That's just a cover. Sweet, that's so cool.
Set this today.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and attach that to it.
And then set it?
Well, I'm just gonna set it right now.
Yeah, we may find a new way to mix. No. It doesn't have to be in any particular spot in there.
No.
Get a level. You got one out already?
Yeah. Let's go.
What's it out here?
Now that it's cool.
Yeah, now that it's cool.
Yeah, we couldn't do that tomorrow and go down. Down as far as you can. That's far.
I can't see your hands anyway. Yeah, that's as far. Right there. Might move again. Way out.
It's gonna do that until we
Get done messing with it.
Yeah.
it have a sensor if you're in the middle?
Yeah.
It stops.
Yeah.
Opens back. Man, that's nice, dude. That's what I need in my house.
Yeah. It's not chain link.
Not chain. But like I said, I do like that roller setup.
Call it a cantilever. Yeah.
Then they let this out far enough that when it's not quite in line, it pushes into
Yeah.
line.
Yeah, well, that's what that's for.
Yeah, that's great. I like that. You want these?
No,
Yeah, keep them at the house.
the only problem with gates like this is the chain pulls the gate at like an oval
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah, the tension.
Yep.
Pretty sweet, Jacob.
Yep. All right, well that completes this job. Just got the solar panel installed. Got some zip ties on some of this wiring just so it's not hanging down and can get hung up on something. Got the cover on and just triple checked that the gate's operating. As you saw, it's working great. Got the keypad on. Got the edge sensor, the photo eye cell sensor, whatever that's called. The wiring on this is very simple. I'll show it to you. Here's a wiring diagram that you don't really need, but I like that they put that on the inside. Now, you do not touch or mess with this antenna. That stays exactly where it's supposed to be. You leave this plugged in. If you're going to use solar, you got to plug this harness in. It comes with this. It's already in here. You got to plug that in. And then that harness goes down to the wiring for the solar panel. And that's what these are hooked into right here. This is the solar panel wiring, those connections that we cut off. On the bottom here, it comes with the connections for the battery. So all you do is hook up the battery and that's it. Next two wires are the close eyes interrupter and the close edge interrupter, and that's very self-explanatory on how to and where to hook those up. To set the limits, you hold set open and set closed, or you click them both at the same time. They will blink, and then one of them will blink by itself, and then you, like, if it's closed, you hit one of these move gate buttons to the limit, and vice versa. Once that's done, once you get to that limit, you hit that button set close, and then it'll blink on set open. You hit the opposite move gate button, move it to where you want it to be open, hit set open, you're done. Here's a timer to limit how fast it'll close after you open it. I have this one set to off. Universal force is set if there's a lot of wind or a heavy gate or heavy drag, you can change the force. I always turn mine up just because we do have a lot of wind out here in West Texas. The learn button, obviously you click it and then you can add your remotes or whatever. Test buttons is to open, close, and stop it. Your battery fail, there's two knobs here. One's for battery fail. And if the battery does fail, it'll either open or close. I have it set to close. And the bipart delay, I actually don't know what that's for. I'm not too worried about it. And then you have a little digital diagnostics reader here. So if there's a code, this will show it. Other than that, the wiring on this is super, super simple, very easy. And then once you're done looking at that, you just grab your cover, throw it back on. That. Take this cover and throw it back on. Once that's back on, you line up your hole. Screw it in. I like to leave it hand tight. It's good enough. and you're done. All right, well, I'm gonna call that done. This came out really sweet. I'm happy with it. The client's happy with it. It works awesome. Much better quality than one you would buy on Amazon. So keep that in mind when you're looking. It's about $2,400 after tax, even with my contractor's pricing. So even online, you're still going to pay about the same amount. So I wouldn't blame anybody if you wanted to buy one on Amazon, because you can probably buy like 6 or 7 of those on Amazon for the price of this one. But I don't think those have solar. But I don't think I would blame anybody, because I would do that myself. So anyway, with that being said, I really appreciate every one of you watching, supporting me, and liking, commenting, and subscribing. I hope this video helped you out. I hope all my videos help you out in the future and in the past. And if you like watching me, just send a like down below, or send a comment just saying, hey, thanks for the video. Boost my ego a little bit. Anyway, with that being said, this is Only Builds with Jacob. On to the next one.